It is now approaching 2 years since I first began hitting the gym, and in today's video I wanted to give you a realistic example of what you could achieve in 2 years of just hitting at the gym consistently, being disciplined, and that is all it has really took for me to get from where I was a couple of years ago and to where I am today. I feel I've made a significant amount of progress, and I'm very proud of what I've achieved, and I still want to kick on and achieve a lot more. But considering where I was, I'm very proud, and I want to see the same change in a lot of other people, because I know there's a lot of people out there who want to make this change, and I thought this would be really good to just give you an example of what you can achieve. I'm nothing special myself. I don't have insane genetics, or I don't take anything. I don't even take supplements at all. So this is just an example of just training right, eating right, and just sleeping right, of what you can realistically expect to achieve. You see a lot of these guys who are just trying to sell you some shit course where they've probably already on steroids, or they have great genetics, or it took them a lot longer. I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I just want to give you an example, because this would have been something for me that would have been really useful to see someone maybe similar built to me. I'm going to go through kind of like a lot of different photos, so a lot of you probably have maybe similar genetics to me, being very skinny, struggling to put on weight. This is something that I struggled with throughout my journey and still do to this current day. So hopefully you'll be able to relate to a lot of the information that I tell you. I'm going to give you kind of the pros and cons of being at like certain types of weights, and the areas that I felt I struggled in, and the areas that I'd recommend like you to do a bit differently, so you can probably learn from the mistakes that I did and get to a better stage than I was already at without making the same mistakes. So hopefully you'll get there a lot quicker than me. So like I said, I'm going to start by showing you a few photos of kind of where I first started. So the first photo I'm going to show you is just before I started hitting the gym in April, which is around February, March time I took this photo. So I'd never really done a lot of weightlifting at all at this point, as you can probably tell. I'd mainly only really done a bit of cardio. I was running during lockdown. This is kind of what started my whole fitness journey. I was just bored. I was bored and just very unhappy with myself and how I looked, and I wanted to make a change. I just wasn't happy with how I was living my life, and this is where it all kick-started for me. So this was me, and as you can see, I'm very skinny. I have a physique of what I'd describe as like a girl's physique, to be honest with you, and I had a lot of work to do. I mean, even back then, I heard some people did tell me I had like pretty good genetics or something. You can be the judge of that. I mean, I never really think I do. Apparently, I've always had like quite broad shoulders. Is something that quite a few people have remarked me about. But yeah, back then, it's a lot of progress I've made since then, but I want to show you kind of gradually what I've kind of done since then. So the next photo I have for you is after about 3-4 months of me hitting the gym consistently, and you can see like I'm not changed too much at this point. You can see that my chest is starting to grow a little bit, and my arms are starting to get a bit bigger than initial picture that I took for you in February, March time. Like, this is nothing major, and I was just not bulking enough, so I've only really become a little more defined. Like, my muscles are clearly a bit bigger in that photo. My chest is starting to like pop out a little bit, but there's not really too much you can see. And as you can see, I've not really gained any weight, I don't think, at this point. So I had been working quite hard at this point, and you get those beginner gains, which if you haven't yet started the gym, you'll experience within the first 2, 3, up to about 6 months from my personal experience, because I'd never hit the gym before. But it does vary on every person's kind of genetics and how much, if they've ever actually done any training, and how much you're going to train, and sleep and diet, which I will get onto later. So that was around 3-4 months after hitting the gym, and then the next photo I have for you is around 6 months later. This was around the start of January. I think maybe I went away to Budapest for New Year's, and I remember this photo was taken then. So it was either right at the end of December or in the start of January. And as you can see, I'm looking quite a lot bigger at this point. my arms are way bigger than what they were 6 months ago. I really started to take gym very seriously between September to the end of December and further on past then, and I bulked up a lot, which was a key thing I think here, because I was doing quite well with the training, I felt, and my sleep's always been pretty good, and my diet's not awful or anything like that, but the key difference here was bulking, because obviously I'm naturally very skinny. I've got very fast metabolism, so eating the same amount, I was just not going to gain any significant weight, and obviously if I'm not gaining weight, I'm not really going to be able to put a lot of muscle. And at this point, this is probably like the most unlean, if that's a word, I've been in my whole time whilst being at the gym. My abs aren't too noticeable at this point. I was not eating the healthiest, but like I said, I've never really had a really unhealthy diet or anything like that. I ate a bit of like fast food still back then, and fizzy drinks and a bit of processed food, so not the best at all, but it wasn't awful, and compared to like a lot of people's diets, hopefully not you, because you're on self-improvement and you're into your fitness, but a lot of people you probably see out there who just eat a load of shit, it's not that bad at all. But maybe it was kind of necessary for me to kind of bulk. Obviously with the knowledge I know now, maybe yes I could have, but I understand, and I don't think it was a worse thing for me to kind of just eat a bit of shitty food, I guess, on the side, just to help me gain that initial kind of bulk so I could put on some lean muscle eventually. And then as you can see the photo next to it, which was around the 6-7 months in around, I think it was July 22, because I remember I had an injury. I started getting a calf injury around this point, and I just remember taking this photo. And as you can see, I'm quite lean in this photo. The arms are starting to look a lot bigger than they were initially. Aesthetically looking very good at this point, and I significantly progressed in the weights that I was lifting at the gym. I remember probably in the summer of 22, I was probably lifting as heavy weights as I have done ever, and even to this point. I've mentioned on a previous video, my form was not as good and stuff like that, and just I've been doing a bit more hypertrophy training, which means I'm doing more reps instead of heavier weights, so that has probably had an impact, and maybe I'm stronger now, but the weights I was lifting then, I do remember, were very heavy. And then I've mentioned previously too about having an injury, which did hold me back, and then I got food poisoning in that summer of 22 as well, so I lost quite a lot of weight. I lost over half a stone because I just couldn't eat for 4 or 5 days. But I mean, you're probably not interested, you probably heard it before, but it's obviously along the journey of going to the gym, it's something you're gonna get setbacks, whether it be you're getting ill, maybe you get injuries here and then. It's gonna happen, so you have to accept that this will happen unless you're very, very lucky, but I'm sure eventually it will catch up on you. But I guess if you want to avoid as much kind of injuries specifically as possible, definitely do some stretching. I would highly recommend, because that's something that I started doing maybe the last year or so, because I started listening to a lot of people who've been in the fitness game a lot longer than me, who get to about 30 and they're getting a lot of pains in their joints and their backs and stuff. So I think it's definitely something that you should bear in mind. Just do 5-10 minutes at the start and end of every session. I know it's quite boring and stuff, and I do still forget, and I don't really want to do it most of the time, but I definitely don't. I would much prefer to do that than be injured, and I'm sure you can relate to that, because it's not very fun being injured at all. I've had that quite a lot of times. But anyway, around a few months later, towards the end of 2022, as you can see, I'm looking quite defined. My muscles are at this point, my abs are popping. I have an 8-pack at this point, and I was probably only around 9 to 10% body fat, I think. I've not actually tested myself, so there might be people be like, oh no, you're not, you're like 13 or 12, 13. I don't think I'm that much, but I would estimate around 10% or so body fat, and yeah, getting very lean at this point. And you can see from that initial first photo that I showed you, where I hadn't lifted weights at all and I wasn't bulking, there's a significant amount of progress within 18 months or so, less than that. And then here we go to, this is when I launched my V-Taper, Aesthetically Pleasing Body Guide. So link below if you do want to purchase that. Definitely would recommend it if you want to work on your aesthetics. Very simple guide, training the right muscles, working on your mindset. But yeah, that just working on aesthetics was something for me. Might not be the same for you, but for me, I really wanted to work on that. And as you can probably tell in the bottom left photo, I'm looking quite lean, as lean as I've ever looked in my life. The shoulder veins starting to pop out, if you can kind of notice that. Something I'm quite proud of, because I think they look really sick. Aesthetically, like I say, looking the best I've ever looked. And my back, as you can see, bottom right corner, very, very developed to this point. Don't have any photos of my back right at the start of my fitness journey. However, you can probably tell by looking at the photo above that my back is not very big, and I think that was at the start of May in 21 in the top right corner. So yes, there's around 18 months, I guess, or so between these photos, maybe slightly more, but it's just incomparable compared to what it looks like now. And then so that's pretty much been my journey up until we've got to the point we're at today. I took this photo in the gym when I went to Dublin about a week ago now, and it actually makes me look a bit skinny. I think I look skinnier than the photos above, but it's kind of the lighting. You can tell I'm very lean and quite muscular still. So yeah, that's the transformation that I've kind of witnessed over the last 2 years. Are pretty much in total between all these different photos, and I think I've definitely made progress each time. Some points have been harder than others, with setbacks, like I say, injuries and illnesses will get in the way, and it's part of training and going to the gym, especially if you go 5, 6, 7 times a week, which I have been doing for the majority of the time that I have been working out at the gym. And I'm extremely, extremely proud of the physique I've built. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm very proud of that. And I think every single man and woman should have this same feeling when they look at themselves in the mirror. You should definitely build a body you're proud of. It's one of the most important things you can focus on. I don't care what anyone says. People are going to judge you for how you look, and it is very important to be looking sharp, especially these days. And for yourself more than anything, you should want to build a body you're proud of. I don't understand how people are okay with not building that body and that frame, that physique. You're going to get a lot of recognition from men and women, whatever gender you are. And I just think there's no negatives to not doing this, and especially while you're young, you've got the time, you've got the energy, you've got the higher testosterone if you're a man too, and you really should just be focusing. That should be one of your biggest things you should be working on. Hopefully you're already working on it yourself, and if not, then you've got the plan to kind of do it at some stage, and hopefully soon. Hopefully this has given you a lot of encouragement to do this. And maybe some people will call me cringe and arrogant for being proud of my body. I post quite a lot of it if you follow me on social media and on YouTube, but to be honest, I don't really give a fuck, because I feel I'm confident in my body. I never used to be. I did this for myself. Obviously, yes, it gets recognition from women and men too. I don't know if that's good or not, but anyway, I did it for myself, and I'm proud, and it's confidence at the end of the day. I wasn't confident before, and I much prefer to be this way. So if people give me shit for being arrogant or whatever they want to say, then I don't care, and you should feel exactly the same too. And yeah, this is 2 years of discipline, and it's in the making. I've still got a lot of work to do. I want to get bigger still. I still love working out. A few weeks ago I made a video about losing gym motivation, but I really do want to keep getting bigger and just take it to another level now. I just find it quite easy now to just hit the gym every single day, and when I'm not doing it, I've said this numerous times, I'm kind of feel like I don't know what to do with myself, and I just think it's a massive part of just my daily routine. And during these 2 years, just for a bit of help for you guys, and I wasn't perfect at all during this process. I was drinking alcohol regularly in the first year. My diet wasn't great really. Like, it was all right, I guess, compared to an average person. It's probably still good. My regular sleep and weight pattern was a bit all over the place. It wasn't great at all. It's been a gradual process, and I'm still learning today on what I can improve, how to train right. For me, I personally train about 5-6 times a week. I've started up boxing now too, which I'm going to do once or twice a week, because I've said that I've built a body that I'm proud of, and I feel, like I said, I do want to keep pushing on a bit further, but I'm very proud of this body, and if this is the highest level I could ever get to, then I'd be extremely happy with that. I'm completely happy with the body that I've built. Obviously, yes, I know I can push on and do better, so that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I train push pull legs. That is what I've tried a lot of different things. People do upper body, lower body, and some people throw in like shoulders and do like bro splits and stuff. But for me, push pull legs 5-6 times a week, so I can do both push pull legs twice a week normally, is the way I like to train. Might be different for you. A lot of people have their own ways of training. Maybe just try a few methods out and see what works for you. When it comes to diet, I'm mainly just eating like meat, potatoes, fish, vegetables. But yeah, like I say, sometimes I'm not a perfect eater at all. Sometimes I will eat stuff like pizza or maybe like sweet stuff, because I've got to a base level where it's not going to affect my body too much. And like I say, I don't indulge in these types of stuff, so definitely don't do that. I'm not saying just eat shit at all, but you don't have to be like one of those guys who say, oh, chicken and rice, because you shouldn't eat like that anyway, because it's just not worth. You don't need to eat that unless you want to be a bodybuilder, which I'm assuming you probably don't want to be if you're watching my video. But like I say, yeah, I hope this video has really helped you starting to get into the gym. Maybe if you're already started, or you're quite advanced, or you're just thinking about it. Hopefully it's given you a lot of encouragement, as seeing someone who's naturally very skinny, not confident at all, especially when it came to the gym and working out in front of people. It's something that I've really struggled with, and even today I'm still learning to get better at it every single day. But like I said, I'm very proud of the body that I've built and how I've worked on myself, and it's been a gradual process. But kind of doing this video now, just reflecting on it, I've come a long way. So I really want to see that same change in you, and I hope it's been like a good video, and a lot better than a lot of videos you see out there with these lot of scammy kind of influencer people who want you to just buy their course and say like, oh, you'll look like me, when it's just not realistic at all. I hate people like that. It's just not. I think it's completely wrong, but it's just a bit of a side rant. But like I say, I'm nothing special. I'm just trained consistently. I'm eating relatively clean. I sleep right, and they are the key fundamentals to what has got me to where I am today. Maybe you think I'm nothing. I don't even look that good, but that's fair enough. I'm happy with what I've got at the end of the day, and you should be too, whatever that level is for you. So like I say, if you want some further guidance, I've got an aesthetically pleasing V-taper body guide, which will be below. It will really help you build like an aesthetically pleasing body like I've built for myself. And if that's something you're interested, maybe you're more interested in just building a bit of muscle, which is fair enough. And one-to-one coaching with me too, link is below if you want to work on your fitness plan, or just building a mindset together, working towards your goals, and we can put a plan together even if it's not fitness related. So I hope this video has really helped you guys. If it has, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. I really want to see a lot more growth on this channel, because I have big ideas for it coming in the future. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one.